It has been a very busy week for President David Granger. During the week just past, the president announced a new township, undertook to work closely with Iwokrama International Center for Rainforest Conservation and Development, and met with a number of important people. Stay with me, Janelle Carter, as we look back at the activities of President Granger over the period June 20th to 27, 2015. This week, we'll start the diary on a lighter note as we share the head of state's Father's Day activities. On Sunday, June 21, President Granger joined the congregation of the St. John the Baptist Church as they celebrated their 172nd anniversary. As he wished the fathers in the congregation a happy Father's Day, he called on them to take up their roles as fathers more seriously.
I'd also like to wish all the fathers a happy Father's Day and hope and pray that we can all be better fathers to our children.
President Granger also used the forum to thank the residents of Bartica and the wider Cuyuni-Mazaruni region for their overwhelming support throughout the elections campaign and the recently concluded May 11 general and regional elections.
I've come to Bartica today to say thanks. I haven't come here as a partisan. I haven't come here as a politician. I've come here as the president of Guyana. I've come here to thank you for your participation in a free, open and democratic process. And today, the people of Bartica can say that somebody from Bartica became president of Guyana. So I have to come back here today to say thanks. Thanks to God, thanks to the residents of Bartica, and thanks to the good people of the Cuyuni-Mazaruni region.
After tributes in the form of songs, poems, and prayers were done, all wishing the president and other members of the congregation a happy Father's Day, the president spoke of how honored he was to share the day with his fellow Barticians.
As you know, my social life, my educational life, my cultural life, all started right here in Bartica 70 years ago. So this is a homecoming for me because this is where it all started. I'd like to join in welcoming, in thanking everyone for coming out this morning, and particularly to celebrate the 172nd anniversary of this church. It is one of the oldest churches in the country, and Bartica is one of the oldest settlements in the country. And I'm very honored and happy to be here to celebrate the 172nd anniversary of St. John the Baptist.
The St. John the Baptist Church had been built after a visit from the Bishop of Barbados in 1836, which was consecrated by the Bishop of Guyana in 1843. During the mid-19th century, a monument was erected on the avenue leading to the church in memory of a Reverend Price and his family who all died on the rapids. Come April 23, 2016, Bartica will attain the status of township in keeping with a promise made by President David Granger during his election campaign and also in keeping with an ordinance made by the British government 178 years ago. The head of state during a public meeting at the Bartica Secondary School made the announcement. Minister of Public Health, Dr. George Norton, and Minister within the Ministry of Social Protection, Simona Brooms, were also present at the meeting.
I made a promise when I was campaigning, and I promised that Bartica will be a town before the 26th of May 2016, the 50th anniversary of independence. In fact, Bartica will be a town on the 23rd of April 2016.
Speaking to the significance of the date, the president told the gathering that it was on April 23rd, 178 years ago, that the colonial government made the ordinance, and his government will make that ordinance into a reality. Speculating that April 23rd may coincide with the Easter Regatta celebration, the president called on all to come out and celebrate the township and show solidarity for the community moving forward.
I would like you to use the next 10 months to make Bartica the most beautiful town in the entire country. There are economic reasons for that, there are health reasons for that, there are political and social and cultural reasons for that. That when people arrive at that stelling, they must know they're coming in to the beautiful hinterland of Ghana.
President Granger also urged the residents to work towards making Bartica a model green town, as it is important so that when persons visit, everything should reflect Guyana's pristine hinterland region.
By a green town, I mean that you must look at your energy. Stop bringing all this dieseline and gasoline. Let us use wind, let us use sun power, like my watch. All I have to do is wear this watch in the sunlight. I don't have to wind it, I don't have to do anything. But we have to adopt green energy, and Bartica must be a green town, Guyana's first green town. Let us cut down on the use of styrofoam and plastics. Let us pay attention to solid waste disposal. Let us ensure that energy generation is sustainable. Let us ensure that our schools, our hospitals, our clinics, and our homes use green energy, sustainable, renewable energy.
Residents were also reminded that it is also important too that children are brought up learning how to properly dispose of waste and how to utilize the good things that are produced locally in an effort to minimize the importation of commodities, including plastic. Going forward, the head of state said a collective effort would be needed to bring Bartica to what it should be as a town in every aspect. 9 categories of special recognition and a sterling speech by President David Granger highlighted the annual awards ceremony of the Scouts Association of Guyana on Saturday last at the association's headquarters, Wolford Avenue. Some 52 persons received awards for achievements in various designations, all testifying to efforts of discipline, commitment, and longevity. President Granger delivered the feature address, noting that the actual awards themselves should not be the end, but an incentive to move on to better and higher things in life.
Scouting helps to guide us through this difficult period of our lives. Scouting is for young people. It helps with their physical, mental, and spiritual development. It helps them to play a constructive role in society. It helps them to develop a strong focus also on the country in which they live, on the outdoors. It encourages them to acquire survival skills. And as the Commissioner pointed out, it encourages you to serve your country, to serve God, and to serve yourself.
President Granger himself, with vast experience as a soldier of the highest caliber and rank, implored the audience on the value of scouting, noting carefully that it expands the horizon of the mind and gives young people a chance to avoid the ruining of their lives. In underscoring how many lives are lost at the point of adolescence, President Granger explained that he pardoned about 60 youths, men and women who were victims of poverty and who hopefully will move on to productive lives, having been given a second chance. Local scouting goes back to 1909 when a scout troop was formed at Queen's College in what was then the British Guyana. This troop was under the leadership of George Manley, a sergeant major in the British regiment stationed here. President David Granger has given a commitment to work closely with Iwokrama International Center for Rainforest Conservation and Development with the aim of restructuring the agenda of the organization. Head of the agency, Dr. Dane Gobin, along with conservationist retired Major General Joe Singh and Minister of Governance, Mr. Raphael Trotman, were a part of a meeting which sought to chart a new course for the agency. According to Minister Trotman, the discussion was centered on how government could sustain the center as it has had some challenges within recent times.
We are looking to see how we can actually reshape the agenda for its work, how we can make it more a place of excellence and of education for not just Guyanese, but for the region, students coming to Guyana to study. And most importantly, how do we preserve this for Guyana?
Minister Trotman added that he is of the belief that Guyanese are not fully aware of Iwokrama and has never fully bought into it and embraced it. Hence, going forward, the new thrust would be to make it part of Guyana's patrimony so that all can be proud of it and would want to visit it, support it financially, protect and preserve it. To this end, a paper will be presented to Cabinet shortly on the way forward for the agency. Iwokrama was given as a gift to the Commonwealth by the then President Desmond Hoyt, which was endorsed by former President Dr. Cheddi Jagan when he came into power. Dedicated as a place for research to develop, demonstrate, and make available to Guyana and the international community systems, methods, and techniques for the sustainable management and utilization of the multiple resources of the tropical forests and the conservation of biological diversity. The Iwokrama rainforest is located in the geographical heart of Guyana. The Guyana government has pledged its full support to the Commonwealth Magistrates and Judges Association as they gear up to host a regional conference. Secretary General of the association, Dr. Karen Brewer, met with the head of state, David Granger, at the Ministry of the Presidency. Dr. Brewer is visiting Guyana as the association has proposed to host a regional conference in this country on September 2016. Also attending the meeting were Attorney General Basil Williams, Chancellor of Judiciary Carl Singh, Minister of State Joseph Harman, and Minister of Governance Raphael Trotman.
She's just doing a familiarization visit, checking on the question of in relation to preparations for that conference. And she was given assurance that we are ready, willing, and able to host such a conference. And that the association would get the cooperation of this government to that end.
At the upcoming conference, several local judges and magistrates are expected to attend with the aim of building capacity. The association was founded in 1970 as the Commonwealth Magistrates Association, and the current name was adopted in 1988. The objective of this association includes advancing the administration of the law by promoting the independence of the judiciary, advancing education in the law, the administration of justice, the treatment of offenders, and the prevention of crime within the Commonwealth, and to disseminate information and literature on all matters of interest concerning the legal process within the various countries comprising the Commonwealth. All assurance has been given to Head of State David Granger that the Guyana Islamic Trust and the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat will continue to complement the social agenda of the new administration. Executives of the two organizations met with the president where brief discussions were held with regards to working with the new administration. Executive member of the Guyana Islamic Trust, Mr. Mohammed Mujay, believes that the work done by the GIT as it relates to fighting social ills in society can be enhanced with some amount of government interventions.
The Guyana Islamic Trust has always been working along with the government of the day. And so we see it fit to come to have a discussion. Because of our social relief work, our community-based work, it is something that what the government is doing, and we want to complement it to that respect.
The GIT is a multifaceted non-profit organization which has been established since 1978. It has dedicated itself to the process of bringing about intellectual, moral, and spiritual improvement to individuals, families, and communities in Guyana. Meanwhile, the president of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, Aftabuddin Nazir, also pledged his organization's commitment to working with the new administration.
As Muslims and as Muslims all over the world would do, we honor and respect the government of the day, and we have been doing social work and charitable work in the country, and we hope to continue the same vein And His Excellency has asked that we share the same, continue in the same vein, or even play a bigger role. So we look forward to that, and we look forward for this social cohesion and the national unity that the government is aspiring for.
The organization also took time to congratulate the president on his ascent to the highest office of the land. As the head of state's familiarization process continues, during the course of the week, he held engagements with statesman Sir Sridhar Ramphal and was presented with a token by veteran cyclist Patrick Holder. Here are some of the highlights of those meetings. Holder, who is also a one-time national awardee, said he won the trophy when he was just 14 years old, and it was one of the most challenging races in his career as a racer. According to Holder, he thought it fitting to present the trophy to the new head of state, as it is his humble way of congratulating the president on his victory at the recently concluded May 11 general and regional elections. During the brief meeting with Sir Sridhar Ramphal and Rich Munson, Chief Executive Officer of Sand Spring Resources, the president was briefed on the status of operation being undertaken by the gold mining company. His Excellency David Granger has given his administration's commitment to work with Argentina in an effort to strengthen bilateral relations between the two nations. This commitment was given as His Excellency Luis Martino, Ambassador of the Argentine Republic, paid a courtesy call to the Guyanese head of state during the past week. The Argentine ambassador described the meeting as a fruitful one, stating that it was centered on discussions on the history of the two countries' bilateral relations.
We reviewed some of the very interesting and important projects that we are trying to develop in our bilateral agenda with several areas of government. We discussed very briefly on cooperation in the area of agriculture, public health, education, culture.
Going forward, it is expected that Guyana and Argentina will work to strengthen bilateral ties that are mutually beneficial. In addition, a delegation from China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs met with Head of State David Granger, and a number of issues relating to Guyana and China's bilateral relations were discussed. The delegation was headed by Ambassador Lu Hoxing, Special Envoy at Caribbean Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China.
And we are looking forward to strengthen our cooperation in economic, trade, culture, education, human resources, and other fields. So we are committed to promote our bilateral relations to a new high level.
Now that's all in this week's diary for the period June 20th to 27, 2015. Before we go, these were some of the highlights. Bartica to officially secure township status on April 23, 2016. President Granger announces at public meeting in Bartica. Muslim group commits to complementing government's social agenda. Bank of Baroda pledges to work closely with government to further develop Guyana's economy. And President joins worshippers at Bartica St. John the Baptist 172nd anniversary church service on Father's Day. Do join us again next week when we will update you on the head of state's activities. I'm Janelle Carter. Do have a safe and productive week ahead. But in the interim, for more information, contact us via email at ginagovgy@gmail.com or visit our website at www.gina.gov.gy.